Shazad Sheikh, motoring Middle East, and I am in a Jaguar F-Type Coupe. Now this is the V6 version. Both V6 versions are supercharged, of course. There's the S and there's the normal one. This is the normal one. The only real difference is that it loses about 40 horsepower compared to the S version. Doesn't have the S badges, and I think the S gets a limited slip differential as well. But otherwise it's pretty much the same. Sport exhaust, dynamic traction modes and all the rest of it. This is the Coupe version. It's a great car. I haven't driven this one before. So let's take it for a bit of a spin. Now the amazing thing is that this V6 sounds, I'll put it in sport actually, sounds fantastic and accelerates really well too. Now I said this is down 40 horsepower, but I'll be honest with you, for the first time I drove it for the first day or so, I didn't really realize that I wasn't in the S. I thought I was in the S because damn, it feels quick, you know. The spec on this car, 0 to 100 in I believe it's 4.9 seconds, this one. No, this is 5.3 seconds, sorry. This is 5.3 seconds, and the S is 4.9 seconds. And if you go up to the R, which of course is the V8 version, that's 4 seconds, blimey. But you know what, you know, 3 tenths seconds in it, 4 tenths seconds in it, you hardly feel it. Top speed is about 260 on this car, 275 for the S version. But, you know, those are just numbers. The point is the driving. And, you know, the ride is on the firm side, but still very supple. I drove up here on the motorway. It's very quiet, very refined. You know, it's an 8-speed gearbox, goes up into 8, cruises along nicely. And then you come to a road like this, and you can just punch it into this corner. You know, the paddles are fantastic. This is a ZF transmission on this car, 8-speed ZF. And, you know, I've driven a number of 8 and 9-speed gearboxes recently, and they all struggle a little bit because there's a lot of ratios, and sometimes they hunt and they get a little confused and, you know, that sort of stuff. This one is fine. You can use it in normal mode, you can put it in sports mode, and it's fine, and then you can just use the paddles, and it's just fun. Responds great, responds really well. You know, the power and torque is there on demand. You can have a little play with it as well. The traction in dynamic mode is a little forgiving, so you get a little bit of movement, a little bit of angle on the car. Yeah, not too much. The traction looks after you. There's never any fear of getting into trouble or anything like that. The grip at the back is fantastic. The grip at the front is fantastic, but it has a sports car feel to it. So it has quite a tight attitude about it. You know, it's not a very long car, and you know, it doesn't feel like a very long car. It feels quite nimble. It feels quite tight. The front turn-in is fantastic. Steering is very accurate, very responsive, and feel is actually pretty good as well. Unfortunately, I am stuck behind this Camry on a series of blind bends. There is just nothing to do except to just cruise behind it for now. Never mind. I wish I could have got by it maybe here, just so that you can hear the engine a little bit, if nothing else. Yep, this is clear. Thank you very much. He knows that. He has braked for me, so that's nice. I love it when people do that. Thank you so much. But, you know, good turn-in, good response. And you hear that crackle when on the liftoff. Look at that. It's just great. You get it on the downshifts. Great gear change, instant. It's so much fun. That's Lexus is fast moving. But it's got a real planted feel to it. Like I said, I mean, you get a little bit of movement. There you go. You get a little bit of understeer, a little bit of movement. But, you know, you can control it on the throttle. You know, you can just judge where it is and then pull back a little bit, tuck it in a little bit. And if you want it, if you're a braver man than I and you want to have a little play, you could probably push it out a little bit at the back too. But it's so responsive, so much fun. This is a proper sports car. This really is. Jaguar have done an amazing job with this. This is a very different car from the XK, which was more of a muscly Grand Tourer. And the funny thing is, I mean, I've only very briefly driven the V8 convertible F-Type, and that car dynamically, handling wise, because of the immense torque and immense power that it has, you know, it feels like a very, very different car to this one. That feels like a tail happy muscle car. In fact, we gave it an award. Check out our awards, Cars of the Year 2014, and we awarded that car the title Sideways Sensation, because even just going around a normal corner, you couldn't help but go sideways in the thing. It was tremendous fun. And this is fun as well, but in a very different way, in a very controlled, very precise, very sporty way. Very enjoyable, very entertaining. Unfortunately, I couldn't really demonstrate that to great effect, because I've been stuck behind not one but two Toyotas this morning. Surprising people are out this early in the morning. 7:30 today, 7:30 a.m. I have to come out early these days because it's getting a bit hot now. Fortunately, the superchargers don't suffer as much as turbos do in the heat, so I don't believe so. The performance is still plenty there. So this is a proper sports car. How is it on the inside? I'm comfortable, it's fine. It's got a pretty straightforward dashboard. I can configure the center bit. I can get kilometers per hour in digital display, but I've also got the analogs as well. This is the normal regular Jaguar touchscreen with all the infotainment system and everything like that. I think I can get past this guy now, yep, and he knows that, and he's braked, and that's really kind of him, thank you. But it's all pretty straightforward. Jaguar owners will be very familiar with the systems in this car. There are no surprises. It's all very intuitive. Controls are all just as you would expect them to be. Brakes are good. Brakes are strong. Look at this. Oh, definitely strong. Change down, turn in, so much grip, change the surface, doesn't bother it. Fantastic. This is really, really good. Right, slowing down for the city. So, inside, it's great, it's comfortable, even for my height. It's a smallish car, 6'3" I am, and not really an issue at all. I can very easily get comfortable in this car. Definitely, it's only a two-seater car, of course, and even the luggage space is actually very limited in this car. What little space you do have in the back, and this is a hatchback sort of setup here, is taken up with a big spare wheel. So not a huge amount of practicality in this car, but I guess that's not what you're really looking for. The other thing, anything that I don't like? Okay, well, this transmission lever, it's becoming a bit of a bugbear of mine. These electronic levers are just doing my head in, because you pull the trigger to go into reverse, you pull the trigger to go into drive, but you can knock it into neutral. But then you go forward, you don't go into park, you have to press the button to go into park. It's just like, it's just too much, And I've said this before, as much as I don't like the knobs either, at least the knobs are a bit more logical, yeah, so they make sense. So, that's the only issue I have, honestly speaking, with the interior of this car. This is a fun car, it's an enjoyable car. The other downside of the car is that it is an expensive car, and that for me is a bit of an issue. This is the V6 entry-level model, pretty well equipped, leather seats and everything. I think the S or the R gets, bucket seats with the cloth Alcantara inserts, I think they are, suede inserts. This car, 299,000 dirhams. Nearly 300,000 dirhams for this car. And really, if you're gonna get one of these, you're gonna think, well, although this is all the car, this is all the V6 that you'll ever need, but people here will think, okay, I want a little bit extra, I want to go for the full option, top of the range, in the V6 category, which would be the S version. For that car, you're paying 339,000 dirhams. For convertibles, add 20,000 dirhams to each of these. Although actually, in this car, oddly enough, I quite prefer this. I think it feels rigid and lighter. Something about this car just feels a bit more sportier to me. If you were to go the full hog for the R, then that is 469,000 dirhams. Now I'm hoping to bring you a review of that car very soon as well. Just stay tuned and we'll give that a bit of a go. But that is one heck of a beast, and as expensive as impractical it might be, it's well worth a punt. and this donkey is thankfully getting out of my way. Yes, the things you encounter on the roads here. But anyway, so that's our review. Check out the full review on motoringme.com. Do check us out on social media. Look for us on Facebook. We do a lot of stuff there. Look for us on Instagram and on Twitter. Just search for Motoring Middle East, and the same goes, of course, for YouTube as well. And if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. Until the next video, take care. I say, testing, testing, testing. Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me if I speak in a normal voice, you know? This is not quite a normal voice at all. Hello? Testing, testing, testing. Can you hear me?